7 tips to start a new YouTube channel. 7 tips that I wish I knew before I started my YouTube channel. 7 tips for people who already started, but they're completely confused and they don't know what they're doing. Hi, I'm Gael Level and I'm a full-time content creator. I've been making a living off of this YouTube channel for the past 4 or 5 years. Here's my little YouTube plaque. And of course, I've learned a lot of lessons. Today, I'm gonna try to give you some tips that hopefully you'll be able to skip all the painful steps that I had to learn the hard way. I'm of course gonna give you theoretical advice, but also I'm gonna do my best to give you some practical stuff. There's actually a lot to talk about, but I have a quick message from our sponsor, which will actually help you in your YouTube journey. And today's sponsor is Owned. They are known to provide everything you need as a live streamer, but they can also help you as a YouTuber. They offer premium YouTube overlays that include YouTube banners. So if you're not sure about your branding yet, this is a great start. They also have a specific banner tab where you can pick out your YouTube banner from there. And as profile picture, you can either create a gaming logo or an avatar, and you can make them straight from the website. On top of that, right now, there is a 50% sale if you type the code streaming. All you have to do is go to own.gg/GaelLevel. That is own3d.gg/GaelLevel. All right, let's jump right into it. So first thing I want to talk about is the mentality. People who are not YouTubers or not used to being YouTubers basically have some preconceived biases that you need to get rid of in order to be successful. One of the most popular ones is I need expensive gear in order to start. I need to invest $10,000 in order to be a good YouTuber. That is not true. There are plenty of YouTubers out there that only have a smartphone and also a 1 million subscriber plaque. Now you are a multimedia content creator, so you do need some gear, but new YouTubers tend to go on Google and type, what is the best webcam? What is the best microphone? What is the best smartphone? What is the best laptop? Stop. When you're doing research for gear, search for something that will give you decent results. When you search for the best gear, most likely you're gonna have gear that has a bunch of options that you don't need, and those options are why they are so expensive. Another one is thinking that you have to be some sort of master editor in order to have good YouTube videos. Good YouTube videos are just interesting. Sometimes the editing helps, but overall the content is what matters. You're currently watching someone sitting down in front of a camera and just talking. I know how ironic that sounds, but also doing a ton of research before you start is not necessary. The truth is there's no amount of theoretical work that's gonna help you more than experience itself. So start. When people tell me things like, hey, I'm thinking of picking up photography, I find it weird because you literally walk around with a camera in your pocket every single day. Just start taking pictures. People tend to think that they need to be like supermodel looking. Now, I'm not gonna lie, beauty is definitely gonna help you, but the whole thing is presentation. If there was a list of things that will make you watchable, beauty would be at the end of that list. The very first thing being audio, actually. Another thing is wanting to do the most with the first videos. Your first YouTube video, and I'm so tired of repeating this, your first YouTube video shouldn't have any captions on screen. It shouldn't have any sound effects. It shouldn't have any wild transitions. It shouldn't have any integrated memes, because you don't have the skills yet to integrate all of that efficiently. Meaning it's going to take you a lot of time, it's going to take you a lot of effort, it's probably going to take you a lot of headaches. So you begin by shooting yourself in the leg, by purposefully making the task absolutely harder. So guess what? Every time you think about making another video, you're gonna think, oh my God, it's this wild, super complicated thing. It is not. You did that. When the whole thing with being a YouTuber is being consistent. If you make the work difficult, how are you gonna keep it consistent? That is self-torture, self-inflicted torture. That literally means the same thing. The audience expectation is actually not as high as you think. You don't need to have a high production value to have people's interest. That's why some people will just come to YouTube, sit in front of their semi-clean room, tell you about a made-up story, and then that video will get 1 million views, even though they don't have, they don't have a microphone, they don't have like a fancy camera, they film on their phone. So think about that. Second thing I want to talk about is community versus searching. So those are 2 types of content creator that I didn't really think about when I was starting my career. The community-based content creator is more personal, is maybe what you picture when you think about an influencer, right? It's someone that's gonna be spreading their content throughout every single platform, telling you everything about their made up life, and basically will create more lifestyle content. Basically, whatever their content is or whatever their niche is, they really make it personal. They make you really connect with them, and most likely you're gonna watch whatever they do because you watch them for them and not necessarily the specific niche. This type of content creator has cons, but also has a lot of pros, versus what I call search term content creators, which is most likely what I am, at least that's how I started, is basically I make videos that you will be typing the title in your search bar. So YouTube has no choice but to recommend me to you. The video you're watching right now is because you're looking for something and YouTube probably suggested it to you, or maybe you typed something in a search bar that made you come across this video. Again, pros and cons, but the thing with this type of content creator is that the cons are most people who watch your content will not be attached to you. I think something like 80% of my viewers don't even subscribe. I have a lot of one-time viewers. They have a problem, they look for a solution. I have a video on the solution. They figure it out and then they leave forever. But the pros with being a search term based content creator is that you can create evergreen content. That is content that people will be looking for answers for the rest of eternity. Meaning that in the long run, for example, if I stop making videos right now, the views that I get on my old videos every single day can be a good source of revenue for the rest of the year, and the next one, and the next one. A big part of my job is searching for relevant keywords. I often make videos on subjects that other people touch, so I have to find a way to make you click on mine. And because of all that, the money comes through the AdSense money, as I said, evergreen content, so you're still gonna get a source of revenue, but also affiliate links. Search term content creators can come up with a course. Since what you're doing is basically giving free lessons, you can have, hey, I have a specific more in-depth lesson and that one's going to be in a course. And you can even create specific products for your students, for the people who watch you. None of that is necessary, but it's kind of part of the whole type of content creator. The community-based content creator has to act kind of like a superstar. You need to take a lot of pictures. You need to take a lot of video. You need to be posting content on every single platform. You need to create a lot of lifestyle content. So you need to find things that are happening in your life to create content out of. Your audience is going to love you for you, but you need to keep that audience happy, which can back you into a corner where you're only living in order to please your audience. Unfortunately, sometimes it means that you have to keep up a certain facade. But when it comes to revenue, you're going to be more flexible because your content is going to be widespread on every platform. You're going to be able to get sponsors from pretty much everything. You do lifestyle content, so from what you wear, from the hygiene products that you use, from your hair, from the tech that you use to make your videos, from whatever your hobby is, all of that is marketable opportunities for you. Funny thing is, I've gotten offers to promote products like that, like hair products, right? But it would be weird if in the middle of, hey, here's how to use OBS, I'm like, hey, by the way, we're sponsored by this hair product. It wouldn't make sense. Number 3, I want to talk about things that will waste your time. There's a ton of information out there. Everyone has a voice, but most people don't know what the heck they're talking about, and they're constantly giving advice, right? For example, for mostly my community who are Twitch streamers trying to make it as Twitch streamers, a lot of people get this idea of, I'm just gonna upload my VODs to YouTube and make money and make partner on YouTube with. It's not gonna work. Like, you would be wasting your time. Same thing for clips. How do I know? I literally started this channel by doing this wild idea and it didn't work. I still have clips compilations that have 20 views on this channel that you're watching right now. There are entire platforms that actually are a waste of time. Depending on your niche, for example, Instagram could be a huge waste of time and I'm still using it. I need to stop, but I'm addicted to stories. But if the whole thing is like gaming, something that is very young, doesn't necessarily have to do with small businesses or whatever, Instagram is kind of a waste of time. Now, of course, if you use Instagram the way it was meant to be used, with a lot of photography, art, and modeling, if you can touch those little niches, then yes, by all means. But as I said in a recent podcast, no one is going on Instagram purely to watch your Fortnite clips. A picture of your face, your cat, and your breakfast, all in one, will have way more success there. Facebook can be another huge waste of time, especially if you're like running a Facebook page and you think, okay, I have my Facebook page, it's gonna grow, and it's really not, unless you're using the only thing that Facebook has going for it, which is Facebook groups. But even then, that's like a full-time job. You need to be active, you need to be posting all the time. So basically you would use your page in order to interact with the group. And then from there, somehow you need to find a way to bring them to your YouTube channel. The other way to actually do it is through Discord, for example. You need to be in whatever your niche is, you need to be in multiple Discords that have to do with it. And if you make educational, for example, videos, you can be like, oh, I actually have a video on that, check it out. Boom. But basically the best platforms for content creators, I would say right now, is Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. And for networking, I would say Reddit and Discord. I don't really use Reddit like that, but it's in the list. All right, number 5, the thing that I want to talk about here is your target audience / the community and your knowledge of it, basically. It's funny because I learned about this when I was looking up shareable content. How can I make content that people just want to send to their friend? And the thing is, you need to know the target audience. You need to know who the content is for. Not precisely. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to imagine a person that is the target audience, but it can be a range of people, right? If I'm making food recipes, for example, most likely I'm not going to target anyone under 17, right? Now you do need to get like discriminatory or prejudice, whatever you want, because you are generalizing. You are aiming for percentages, right? If I'm launching a makeup brand, I'm not going to target older men. The goal is basically to really know the community. You need to know what they like. You need to know what they hate, and you need to know what they're divided on. Because shareable content sometimes can be controversial content. I'm not talking about controversial opinions like, hey, some people don't deserve rights. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about subs versus dubs, for example, in the anime community. I'm talking about subs versus doms in the other community. But basically, knowing the community means you know the culture, you know the history, and you can definitely play on that when it comes to the content that you're about to create. And it helps you anticipate how they're going to receive it. For example, in the Twitch community online, basically on Twitter, for example, if you complain, say something bad about Twitch, or complain about how bad Twitch is, call out someone else, or call out a full type of content creator, you're gonna get more attention than if you post anything that is creative or innovative. That is just how it is, and you have to play around with that. Some people have full accounts that are only dedicated to making bad takes so that everyone else wants to call them out, and then their account gets an enormous amount of reach, which they can use as leverage when asking for sponsorships. I have a whole video planned that I'm gonna call like evil advice. It's things that are kind of morally ambiguous, but that a lot of creators are doing, so I might as well share them with you. Keep an eye out for that. All right, number 6, I wanna talk about skills. And this is the part where a lot of people are probably going to disagree, but the truth is, you don't need that much skills in order to be a YouTuber. It all boils down to consistency, aka workflow. I know I mentioned video editing earlier. It honestly, I would say it would take you 1 week to learn video editing. And I'm saying 1 week. The truth is, in 1 day you can learn video editing. For YouTube, I'm giving you 1 week to learn everything else. And if you spend 1 week learning video editing, you're gonna be a very good video editor, in theory. Then of course, there's a lot of practice that you need to put in. You don't need paid software. Believe it or not. I know I pay like $65 to Adobe every month, but you don't need that. I pay it like I don't even use most of their software. I use Adobe Premiere and Photoshop the most. If you watch this channel, you can see that I even stopped doing tutorials on Adobe Photoshop just to show you free software that you can use instead. Your phone, I know everyone is like team iPhone, but even if you're team Android, doesn't matter. You're buying very expensive phones that can do a lot of things. Use them. CapCut, for example, is such a strong editing app, and it has features that just don't look cheesy. There's features that Adobe Premiere doesn't have. They have effects that use like AI. So when you put that in your video, you really know how to use it. It ends up looking amazing. CapCut is also coming to desktop, so it's going to be a free, very powerful video editing software, completely free. Of course, there are some pros and cons editing on a computer or editing on your phone, but with all the things that those apps are starting to do, I find myself editing more on my phone than on my computer lately. And the fact that you can capture from your phone and then edit from your phone, meaning that you can create content wherever you are and then just put it back in your pocket. Let me know if you would like to see a video on how to create content from your phone. We're still talking about skills. The thing is, if you're going to be on camera, one of the biggest skills that you can have is to look confident on camera, or to just be able to talk on camera, right? I deal with a lot of live streamers because that's the type of content, that's the type of niche that I'm in. And you can see as soon as they have to record anything that is not, live in front of a chat to hype them up, they go, well, hi guys, this is my channel trailer. On this channel, you're gonna find Fortnite gameplay. You're like, what's going on here? And I get it. It's not natural for anyone, but that's why you need to practice. And this practice is completely free. Stand in front of a mirror and start talking like you would talk in a video. Sometimes I pick a subject and I just go on about the subject. The video you're watching right now is not scripted. Looking at the camera, I would watch back a video that I recorded and I'm like this the whole time. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, this is something that I need to practice. So I would look at the camera when it's not even rolling and I would start improvising. But those are the skills that you can work on because this is going to make you watchable, captivating. You're going to look confident. Of course, the fact that my audio is decent is going to keep you watching. Of course, my background might look good to you and that might help a little bit. So those are other skills. They don't have anything to do with the actual gear. Technically, this mic is at $49 right now, even though I own a $100 mic. That goes into a total of $350 setup. Audio, lighting, and camera are also skills that you can learn. How to properly get the sound that you want, no matter the price of the gear that you're using. How to get proper lighting that you want. This is a $100 light, but this is a $20 light. But this is a $120 light. Not the Elgato logo, the neons behind it. Which one looks more sophisticated? The cheap one. If you understand your camera and how to use it, you're going to be able to anticipate how it's going to react to certain lights. You know, difference between soft light, harsh light. You're going to be able to set up your stuff. It doesn't matter what the price is. In the long run, you're going to be able to add a little bit of detail. For example, the purple light that's hitting the side of my face, you would still watch the content if it was like that. But after a while, I'm like, hey, let me invest on adding that little detail right there. And that's $19 worth of detail, worth of lighting. Just kidding. It's a $500 aperture light. Just kidding. You don't know because it's off camera. It doesn't matter. The only thing that's worth investing is how convenient the gear is. For example, this $19 light requires me to keep the remote and I have to do this, right? It's not a lot, but you add that with all of my lighting, setting up the mic, the camera, and all that, you can shave off a lot of time. But that's because I'm already in a workflow. I already am a YouTuber. So I'll invest on an extra fancy light that has voice commands. Turn off shelves.
Okay.
That's it. And that doesn't change the way you perceive the light. It's still the exact same light, except it has this extra little functionality that helps me directly. Turn on shelves. All right, number 7. Starting to get tired, is to take care of yourself. When I started to take this channel seriously, I felt like I had no choice. I had to grind. I was kicked off of the YouTube partner program because they changed their settings or whatever. And I had to get back in and I had to do it as fast as possible. I had 0 sources of income at all. And YouTube was my only hope. I personally wouldn't put myself in a situation like that. Even though I made it work, there were moments where I was uploading one video every single day for like 2 weeks straight. So really not a lot of sleep. It was wake up, film, edit, post, which probably helped my workflow a lot because I felt like I had no choice. I was constantly blaming, I still do that. I was constantly blaming myself when I spent a day just relaxing. I was like, I should be productive. And yeah, I still do that. Another thing that happens a lot is that you start getting emails, for example, from companies, from people and stuff like that. And I used to say yes to everything because that was the life. In my head, it was like, oh, well, this is part of the job. I need to do those things. So every email I get, I'm going to say yes. Every potential contract, every pay you with exposure, I'm going to say yes because exposure is good, right? I shouldn't have done that. And to this day, I still have like issues answering my emails. Sometimes I'll go 3 days without answering my emails because I feel like it's going to be full with people who want me to do the most and paying me the least, which is very much the case. Or people trying to scam me or people trying to take over, but like scammers trying to literally send you viruses and stuff like that to take over your channel. And that is stressful. That is very stressful. This job is amazing. It allows me to do so much. Just the simple fact that I can think of something, make that thing, and then get rewarded for it is just absolutely fabulous. But of course, there are some downsides. They might not be as wild as, you know, being yelled at by your boss in your 9 to 5, but they still exist and they're still frustrating. So my big advice here is learn your own limits. And of course, experience will, like, you're going to get scammed at some point. A company is going to be like, hey, can you do this? We're going to pay you that. You're going to do it. They're going to ghost you. That happened to me so many times. And there's no limit to which company is going to do it. I had to learn how to set boundaries. I had to learn how to be like, hey, you know, pay me half first and then I'll post it. I mean, about a year ago, I worked with a mic company and they were like, hey, you should do a giveaway. And then a bunch of things happened and they ended up just ghosting me, even though I chose like 2 winners for the giveaway. I had to pick different prizes and send those prizes to the winners out of my own pocket. Thankfully, the community kind of helped, but this is the type of position that companies will not hesitate to put you in. Even the big names, even the recognizable names. But it's not always the case. I work with some companies where it's like, hey, what's your budget? And they're like this. And I'm like, can you add more? And they're like, yes. And then everything is super smooth. I work with companies that just don't bother me at all. They're like, hey, you want to do this? Have it your way. Be creative. Do whatever you want. Just tell us how much to pay you. And it's just amazing. Most likely, if you hear me keep on telling you about a company, that's the type of company that I love to promote. So take care of your health. Physically, I don't want to give you advice for physical health because I'm super bad at it. I took on like 20 kilos in the past year. But mental health, I can tell you how I suffer so that maybe you manage to not suffer as much. No, but for real, learning how to say no is one of the biggest things. Setting boundaries, like you hear people talk about boundaries all the time. Your boundaries. It's for a reason. You know, the cheesiest advice is usually the best. It sounds cheesy because it's the best. Say no. Only do things that you're comfortable with. Do not push yourself too hard. It's not worth it because the goal is consistency. You cannot be consistent if you push yourself too hard. Now, if any of what I said sounded helpful, let me know in the comment section below. If I forgot anything, also let me know. You have some advice, give them to me. But I also know that you're gonna love this video where I talk about how to make money online as a content creator. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Go out there, make me proud, get a level, out.